First, what I had to do was fill out one of those charts. Everybody's seen them who's done some sort of CBT, DBT in their recovery journey. Basically, it's a big 4-square chart, and in each of the squares, you write down what the benefits and cons are of staying sick, and the benefits and cons are of getting better. I've filled these out probably about 8 or 10 times. I know exactly what I'm supposed to say. Benefits of getting better. My skin will be better. My hair will be better. My friendships will be better. I'll have a future. I'll have a family. I'll have a life. Cons of staying sick. My hair will hurt. My body will hurt. I will probably lose my job. My marriage may or may not happen. Everybody knows what they're supposed to say when it comes to these. But the key is, don't think about what you are supposed to say. You'll never figure out what means anything to you if you're so concerned about what you should be saying. So the first thing I did was I made a list. Cons of being sick, benefits of being sick. Cons of being better, benefits of being better. And I wrote down everything that I thought I should say. And then I took another look at it and said, you know what? I've filled this out so many times. Why am I doing this again? And how am I going to make it work? So I went back in my head to when my therapist said that she didn't believe me. She didn't believe that I wanted to get better. And I put myself in her shoes. And I said, what wouldn't she believe if she were looking at my list? So I went through my list and I said, you know what? This thing, I don't really care if I have to live with this forever. This thing, I'd really rather not live with it forever, but it's fine. And this thing, there's no way. I will not live a life with this consequence of being sick. I went through all of my cons and benefits of being sick with that kind of perspective. Yes, this is okay. I can live my life with this and I don't care. I'd rather not, but I can and will. Or no, this is never okay. And then I went through my cons and benefits of getting better with a similar kind of lens. And I took a look at the things that I needed in my life in order to make my life worth living, so to speak. Things that I would be okay without having, that are really nice to have when it comes to living a life and having the kind of life that you like, but that I didn't really need in order to feel like I was worth anything. And then the things that I really just didn't care about. So I went through it with a really critical eye, and my list went from about 30 or 40 items to 9. This is when I took a really deep look at myself and I said, okay, these are the things that mean the most to me. These things that I refuse to live my life with while being sick, and these things that I need in my life in order to be better. Personally, these things for me all related around family. So for me, I needed to have a family. I need to have a husband. I need to have a life. I need to have children. I need that connection in my life. I was getting married soon, and I didn't want my children to look back on my wedding photos and admire me if I was really thin. That's not something I was okay with. I wouldn't want to look up and see my mom in those kinds of situations and feel that yearning to be like that when she was thin. It's not something I want my children admiring. Once I was holding a little baby, a friend's baby, and he got so tired while I was holding him, and his little head went like this, flat against my chest, and I was terrified. I didn't want my own child to hurt himself on my chest. While you're holding your child, while you're embracing them or comforting them, a bony chest is not something they should feel. I want to be the most comforting, warm, comfortable mother that they can possibly have. And being bony just doesn't line up with that. As much as my heart and my mind want that, it's not okay. Also, I didn't want my children growing up thinking that living a life where you torture yourself day in and day out is more important to you than they are. In the depths of my disorder, and even sometimes when it wasn't even that bad, nothing really mattered more to me than being sick. Nothing mattered more to me than what I was eating when I was weighing myself, etc. We all know. And I didn't want my kids to think that that was more important to me than they were. It's not okay. The things that I needed in my life were to have kids, and the things that were most detrimental to that were my eating disorder. So finding those things out, finding what my true motivation in life was, is what sort of helped me figure out how I can keep that close to me. So what I did was I went around and I started looking at things that had to do with children and getting excited about getting married and getting excited about starting a family. And then I hit a bit of a panic because we're not going to have a family for a couple of years. What am I going to hold on to until then? I cried and I cried and I cried because I had nothing to hold on to. I was letting go of my eating disorder on this side, but as I was jumping, I had no threads. I had nothing to hold on to on the other side. So what I did was I brought that goal, which was 2 years away, and I brought it closer to me. I did things like start organizing nursery ideas. I started subscribing to subreddits about babies. I started going on Pinterest and looking up everything you could possibly want to know about kids. I started keeping little baby socks in my wallet. I don't even think my husband knows about that one. And he's laughing at me now, but that's okay. Do whatever you have to do to bring that motivation closer to you. My very good friend, she went out and for my birthday, she bought me a little onesie for a baby. Actually, I should have brought it. That's okay. She brought me a little onesie, and it has a little hood with little bear ears on it, and it's the cutest thing in the whole wide world, and it's in my nightstand. So take whatever you can, find your motivation, and bring it close to you. Put it everywhere. Put it in your car, put it in your desk, put it in your wallet, on your phone, put it everywhere to constantly remind you of why you keep doing what you're doing. So that honesty part was a little bit long. There's a few main points to it. First, you want to make a list. Just list everything. Whether you think it matters or not, make a list. Make two. Just make a list. Second thing is you need to go through that list with some really critical eyes. What matters? What doesn't? Don't pay attention to what you should or shouldn't feel. Reach way down deep and figure out exactly what and how you feel about every single item on that list. Next, go through and figure out what your motivations are. What are the things that matter to you? What are the things that you need to have? And what are the never okay things? Put those things together and find your true motivation. Bring that motivation close to you and hold it as close as you can possibly keep it, because that's what's going to carry you through. That's what, when you're so sad and so scared, that's what's going to help you get through it, because you know that those things mean the world to you. In that instant, you know that no matter how big your disorder seems and how big it feels, you know that this little thing that you're holding, for me, a baby sock, I know that that is what I truly want in life, and that that has to be more important to me than what I want right now. So hopefully this hasn't been too long and you're still sitting here watching. It's been a long video, but I really hope that it's come across about the best things that I've done, and maybe you can come up with some ideas for what you can do for you too. Stay strong.